Look, she said she wanna be a teacher. Damn, in my head, she would look good as a teacher.
Hey guys, it's your girl Madison, and this is The Mindset. Another week, another video, yet another filming location. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even know where I'm gonna keep recording these videos at. It's gonna be a minute before I get like one set location that I'm like really cool with. So in the meantime, you're just gonna have to deal with me being in different locations every week. But that's okay though, that's okay. So I'm gonna figure it out. So in today's video, we're gonna be talking about Rachel Dolezal. And I know I'm kind of late because I know that the whole Rachel Dolezal scandal initially happened on June 11, 2015. And here we are in 2020s. But I feel like this is kind of appropriate since we have the Shane Dawsons.
Yes, it is me, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, nigga, bitch.
Trisha Paytas's.
All you niggas want some neck cake. I got the
Adele's. And all the other people that are accused of blackfishing and or cultural appropriation. Where Rachel Dolezal fits into this, she's really the ultimate Karen of it. Or I guess the ultimate Rachel of it, I don't know. So I watched The Rachel Divide that's on Netflix, and baby, let me just say, they need to do something about Rachel because this is not okay. This is an issue that needs to be addressed. So let's address it. And for those of you guys that don't really know much about Rachel Dolezal, basically Miss Ma'am committed the ultimate appropriation scam. She's a woman who went to Howard University and she majored in like black studies, African American studies, and like all things black. She studied that. That was really her thing. And then she ended up becoming one of the head members of the NAACP. And she actually did a lot of stuff for the black community in regards to like speaking out a lot about racial injustices. And she got a lot of support. Like she did a lot of stuff in regards to holding these marches and lectures and speaking. And she makes this art. She makes this beautiful art. There's so much passion in her artwork and everything. She's actually a very intelligent and talented woman, but she's incredibly problematic, and this is an issue. Because basically Rachel Dolezal is a white woman. White. Very white. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, pale skin, freckles. The whitest white that there can be is what she is.
Well, I definitely am not white.
Why the fuck you lying?
Which, mind you, is fine. And don't get me wrong, you can most definitely be a white person who majors in studies and has a big passion for African American studies and someone who makes black art and stuff like that. Like, that's fine, that's cool. You can most definitely be a white person who loves black culture. To an extent, though. Miss Ma'am really sat here and told the entire world that she was black.
Are you an African American woman?
I identify as black.
You what?
She was getting her hair braided, she was getting all the black people wigs, she was tanning her skin and using these artificial tanners to darken her skin, and said all these things about the black struggle and things that she went through as a black woman, but she wasn't black. She put on this whole facade for years that she was a black woman with black struggles and that she was biracial, and I think that she had said that she was either like half black, half white, or that she was black, white, and like Native American or like Indian or something like that she had said. So she kind of made up things about her racial background to, I guess, overcompensate for her skin color and for her phenotype. And on June 11, 2015 is when everything fully came out. And now, prior to this date, there was already a lot of talk about Rachel Dolezal and her race. I mean, a lot of people thought that she was a black woman, that she was a biracial woman, but a lot of people did not. There are plenty of videos and news articles and talk shows like talking about, either talking directly to Rachel Dolezal about her race or talking about her race. And how much people kind of just were put off by what she was saying and how she was saying it. And in interviews, whenever someone would ask her, Rachel Dolezal, are you a black woman? Are you a black woman with a black biological father and or a black biological mother? Plain and simple.
Is that your dad?
Yeah, that's my dad.
Your parents, are they white?
Any black person can say, hell yeah, I'm black. You can see my skin. You can see my hair texture. Here's a look at my family tree. If you actually are the race that you're saying you are, you can easily prove that. It doesn't take much. No one's ever gonna sit here and say I'm not a black woman.
Nigga. I'm 100% nigga. Nigga.
But when she got those questions, she would often deflect from it, or even if she would say, yes, she's a black woman, she had little pauses that a lot of people don't necessarily detect. But if you're someone who pays a lot of attention to body language, which you can tell when there's deception and when someone is lying.
I do, I am black.
And another thing about Rachel Dolezal is I don't want to make it seem like she just woke up one day and was just like, hey guys, I'm black. Cool. There's actually a whole backstory to this. Basically, Rachel Dolezal, she was raised in a very conservative, very strict, damn near extremist Christian family in like middle America somewhere. She had like 2 other biological siblings, an older brother and a younger brother. But then her parents actually wanted to adopt more children, and throughout the adoption process, they realized that adopting white babies was more difficult than adopting black babies. It was much more easy to adopt black babies. Which is another situation that we're gonna touch on in another video. Her parents ended up adopting like 2 or 3 other black children. They were babies when they got them, maybe like a year or something like that. And all the children experienced a lot of abuse in that family. They were all abused a lot, verbally, physically, sexually. All types of abuse happened in that household, and Rachel said it herself that she dissociated from her childhood, from her parents, and didn't want anything at all to do with them, which is very understandable. If you come from a household of trauma and abuse, it's understandable that someone would want to dissociate from that and be fully removed from that as much as possible. So in order for her to feel like she was fully removed from her parents, she just decided to remove herself from being white in general. So sis just basically had the mentality of, you know what, I'm done with this white shit, I'm gonna do some black shit, and we're just gonna stick with that, okay? And like I said, they grew up in a very Christian white household in middle of America. It wasn't a diverse area. They said that there wasn't a whole lot of diversity at all. There wasn't a whole lot of black culture, no black representation. The black adopted children didn't really learn anything about being black. They were raised to be white, essentially. But I don't know if that was their parents purposely trying to erase their blackness, or if that just came from white ignorance and not knowing how to properly, like, you know, teach your black child or your child of color about their race and their ethnic history and stuff like that. So Rachel, being the older sibling, kind of saw herself as not only an older sister but also as a mother figure, and she took it upon herself to read books about black history and black culture so that she herself could be more educated, but also so that she could pass down that education onto her black siblings, which I think is honestly amazing. She easily could have just got up through and dipped and not, you know, cared about any of that. She was like, alright, I have this white family, I got these black siblings. So she took it upon herself to educate herself and educate them as well. But the thing is, why pretend to be black though? You can most definitely be an advocate for black rights and for black people while still being whatever race that you are. You don't have to cap like you're part of that community in order to support that community. I think what she did was good in terms of her support for the black community, but how she went about it is and she ended up adopting one of her youngest siblings as her own, just so he could also fully separate himself from their parent, because like I said, there was a lot of abuse going on. So when she fully adopted him, he didn't want to be looked at as any different. He didn't want to be looked at as an adopted child. Probably because he was always looked at as an adopted child. But naturally, if he didn't want to be seen as an adopted child, then he wanted to be seen and treated and all those things as a biological child. Him being a dark-skinned black man with coarse type 4 hair obviously could not have come out of the womb of a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, straight, fine-haired woman. So she took that and essentially fully ran with it. After that point, she fully adopted herself as black. So when she would talk about her trials and tribulations as a black woman, she would also talk about her black children and say, oh, my black son's this, my black son's that, which is most definitely true. You know, when you are a black person and you have black children, or you are a person of another race who has children with a black person and therefore you have biracial black children, there are most definitely struggles that will come with that. So for her to speak about those are very true and very valid, but she adopted their struggles as part of her own struggles to continue to validate her blackness, if that makes any sense. And the thing about Rachel Dolezal is that her fake ass black struggles were actually impacting the real black people in her life. Her black children were affected and her black siblings were affected. Now with her biological son, he was getting bullied in school and having all types of problems because a lot of people knew who his mother was. So when people hear his last name, they hear about her, they not messing with it at all. Which is very unfortunate, him being a young teenager at the time, having to deal with the fact that not only does the whole media hate his mother, but the children in school have a disdain for his mother and are picking on him because of that. And her adopted son wanted to go to Howard University, the place that she actually also attended, and the place that I believe that she also was a professor at for a period of time. He also expressed his concerns because, you know, he still has that last name as well. well. So it's only a matter of time before they connect the dots of who he is and who he's related to. And her sister had a lot of issues because, like I had mentioned before, with all the abuse that was going on in that family. She endured sexual abuse by her older brother when she was younger, and you know, whenever she tried to ask for help from her parents, they yelled at her and abused her for lying and said all these things that, you know, you're lying, he would never do this, you're not being abused, yada yada yada. And as she got older and was able to, you know, come to terms with what happened and wanted to seek justice, she was having a lot of difficulty even getting her case to be heard by anyone. You know, in the area that she was in, when it was seen as this clean, cookie cutter, you know, Christian family had assaulted this girl, they weren't really buying her story. At that point, it was his word against hers, so it was very difficult for that. And Rachel ended up wanting to testify for her and against him because she herself also allegedly was sexually abused by her brother as well. And for a period of time, they had a nice case backed up. So things were going good for her for a minute in that regard. She was getting closer and closer to being able to see her day in court, so that perhaps, hopefully, her brother/abuser would be persecuted. But after Rachel had fully gotten exposed and outed for her lies about being a black woman and other things that she had lied about publicly in the media had gotten exposed, all credibility was out of the door. At this point, her brother and her parents and, you know, anyone else that is defending the brother were able to say, oh, well, Rachel's a liar. Can't you see everything that she's been lying about in the media? Why would you believe that I abused her? They're pathological liars. So now it's very difficult for her to see her day in court. So for Rachel to be faking her blackness, she also caused a lot of detriment to the other black people that were around her. And as much as she said that she cared and showed remorse and was sorry about everything that happened, she still played the victim card and said that she was getting fired, wasn't getting endorsements, she wasn't making money, which all of those were true. She wasn't nearly as financially stable as she was prior to her being outed. But she played the full-blown victim card as if all the backlash that she was getting was something that was fully random, fully out of her control. And
Oh my gosh, like, I just don't know why everyone's targeting me, like, they're really hurting my feelings and I can't get a job, no one's not hiring me.
baby girl, you did this to yourself. Each and every solitary aspect of backlash that you get stem from actions that you made. And that's something that I hate about people in general. Regardless of if it's Rachel Dolezal in her situation or just people in general, I honestly hate with a burning passion intentionally do something wrong. And then any aspect of backlash they get from it, they act as if this is some outside force targeting them. They had nothing to do with it. They're innocent. They're saints. No, you need to take accountability. You did these actions on your own free will. Nobody told you to sit here and do this, yet and still you decided to do this. You got outed for it, and now you have to face the repercussions that happen with that. Actions have consequences. I mean, once someone has already lost respect for you and already lost trust in you, and once your credibility is already out of the door, that's difficult enough to get back. After that point, you need to take accountability for your actions and own up to what you did. Not even just for other people to feel better about the situation, but for yourself so you can get that closure back. And in the midst of everything, she published a book. She wrote a book basically about like her childhood, her life, and all these other things basically from her side of the story, kind of so she could like get her message out there. People were not trying to buy that at all, and understandably so. But not only was she a white woman posing as a black woman, but she was a white woman who was posing as a black woman who was seen as a light-skinned black woman. So not only did she use her white privilege to damn near transform races, but after being seen as a light-skinned black woman, she still ended up using that aspect of colorism for her full advantage. Another thing too that I totally forgot, Rachel Dolezal actually changed her name to Nkechi Diallo, which actually is low-key a pretty name, can't even cap to you, but like, why? So it wasn't enough to fake your race, but after being outed, you still decide to whole-ass change your name though, in order to fully carry on with the agenda that you're a black woman. I don't make it make sense. Not only that, but she committed welfare fraud not too long ago. She basically said that she only made like $300 a month and ended up getting $9,000 from the state, when in reality, she didn't report the money that she was making from hair braiding, the money she was making from selling soap, selling dolls, selling her art, and from the book that she published, didn't report any of those earnings. So she ended up having to go to court because she has to basically pay that $9,000 back.
Well, she rose to international infamy for admitting she had lied about her race, and now she's facing felony charges.
Theft in the first degree for welfare fraud, perjury, and false verification for public assistance. She owned up to neither today in the courtroom.
So across all boards, She's a fraud. She is a full-blown scammer if I've ever seen one, and that's for damn sure.
A liar, a scammer. I love robbery and fraud.
And that's enough talking about her for right now because I'm tired, I'm upset. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, do all that good stuff. I hope you guys learned something from it. I encourage everyone to stay safe, stay protected, and do what you gotta do to stay successful, and have a great day.